the University of Connecticut may think it is done with Kevin Ollie, who coached the Huskies to a national championship in 2014 but whose teams failed to qualify for March Madness the last 2 seasons, but Ollie is by no means done with the University of Connecticut. On March 10, UConn announced that it had initiated disciplinary procedures to terminate the employment of Ollie for just cause. The just cause classification is notable because schools seldom use it to fire coaches and because it indicates a finding of unethical conduct. If upheld, a just cause firing would also relieve UConn of an obligation to pay Ollie the approximately $10 million remaining on an employment contract that is set to expire in 2021. Assisted by his attorneys and the union representing UConn teaching and research staff, Ollie could use a combination of grievance hearings, arbitration and litigation to contest the just cause firing. He might also exact some revenge in the process. The unstated rationale for Ollie's firing. UConn has declined to publicly explain why it fired Ollie, and why it intends to fire him for cause. UConn President Susan Herbst, for example, has remarked on Ollie's firing by stressing the basketball program's proud history and a tradition of excellence. She also highlights how the university intends to feature a program that students, alumni and fans can be proud of. Her choice of words suggests that the program is not currently engendering pride, which, in the context of firing Ollie, can be construed as a criticism of him. Yet, for reasons explained below, Herbst carefully avoids mentioning Ollie or even referring to him. Similarly, UConn Athletic Director David Benedict has vaguely stated, "It is unfortunate that this decision to fire Ollie became necessary." Benedict has not addressed why such a decision became necessary. The most plausible explanation for Ollie's firing is his possible connection to an NCAA investigation into UConn. As reported 2 months ago by the Hartford Courant and the Connecticut Post, the NCAA is probing whether the Huskies basketball program committed recruiting violations. The NCAA probe comes as several major basketball programs have been implicated in criminal indictments. Allegedly, star recruits received thousands of dollars from assistant coaches and sneaker executives as inducements to attend particular schools. The federal government contends that these payments constituted illegal fraud. To date, UConn has not been implicated in the criminal prosecutions. However, UConn recruited players who are rumored to have sought or received payments from other schools. Also, most of the evidence and testimony in the FBI's investigation have been sealed from public view, meaning there is a great deal we do not yet know. In addition, UConn, or any other college, could have violated NCAA rules but not in ways that the federal government would portray as indicative of criminal conduct. UConn and Ollie's contractual obligations to one another. On November 10, 2016, Ollie, who began his coaching tenure at UConn in 2012, signed a relatively straightforward employment contract extension with UConn. The contract contains provisions for base pay, public relations pay, deferred compensation, reimbursement for travel expenses and country club memberships and other benefits and perks. The agreement further mentions that UConn's athletic director would conduct annual performance reviews to evaluate Ollie on 4 measures: 1. Academic success of basketball players, 2. Winning the American Athletic Conference regular season, winning the AAC tournament and participating in the NCAA tournament, 3. Compliance with university, AAC and NCAA rules, and 4. Fiscal responsibility. If Ollie performed well in these criteria, he would be eligible for salary increases and potential contract extensions. As to his duties, Ollie agreed to perform faithfully and conscientiously, and maintain the high moral and ethical standards expected of someone in his position. He also pledged to comply with university and NCAA rules and to promote an atmosphere of compliance. The contract warns Ollie that if UConn or the NCAA concludes that he violated NCAA rules, he would be subject to suspension without pay. Further, in the event of significant or repetitive violations, Ollie would be subject to termination of employment. The contract thus expresses what one would expect from an employment contract of a D coach. The coach is judged mainly on winning games, not violating university, conference or NCAA rules, and ensuring that players remain academically eligible and, preferably, do well in their classes. UConn's rights to fire